The drama opens with Yi Hyun sitting on the school rooftop terrace while police officers below urge him to come down. But Yi Hyun completely ignores them and just sits there, enjoying the scene. Meanwhile, Seobam spots him from the classroom window and says, "He's not coming down." She then turns to her teacher and asks, "Sir, class is already over. Why are you still teaching?" The teacher replies, "What if Yi Hyun sees you all running and gets excited and jumps?" That shuts everyone up, and they stay quietly in their seats. Seobam asks, "If he comes down, can we all go home?" The teacher says, "Yes, if he comes down, you can all go home." That's all she needed to hear. Seobam immediately makes up an excuse to use the bathroom, slips out of class, and heads straight to the rooftop. Officer Jong, who is on the terrace trying to talk Yi Hyun down, sees Seobam and asks, "Are you his girlfriend or something?" Seobam denies it and says, "I'm just his friend, and right now he's the reason I can't go home." Seobam sits down next to Yi Hyun and asks if he actually wants to kill himself. Yi Hyun says no, explaining that he just came up for some fresh air. He has no idea who called the police, and now he's just having fun messing with everyone. Seobam convinces him to get up, but the moment he stands, she gives him a hard shove. Yi Hyun falls straight into the police safety net below, leaving everyone stunned. After that, the police end up putting the handcuffs on Seobam instead. Seobam asks Yi Hyun for help, but Yi Hyun says he'll only help her on one condition. She has to be his girlfriend. Seobam is completely caught off guard. The story then jumps 12 years into the future. Seobam is now in the military, and Yi Hyun has become a police officer. One day, Yi Hyun and Officer Jung are called to investigate a murder case at an apartment. They find a dead body and begin searching for evidence. But along with the evidence, they also find the killer who was hiding under the bed. During questioning, the man says he can't remember anything and that it all felt like a dream. The only thing he says is that he was incredibly thirsty. When Yi Hyun checks the man's mouth, he realizes this man had drunk the victim's blood and killed him that way. Yi Hyun is shaken, but he places the man under arrest. Meanwhile, Seobam is having lunch with her colleague Soo Min. She says, "Did you know the military is giving out free apartments, but you need a good rank and you have to be married?" Seobam says this with a hint of sadness because she doesn't even have her own place, and she really wants that apartment. Just then, Yi Hyun calls. He tells her that her colleague Tai has been selling drugs to a suspect and she should go talk to him. Seobam immediately heads over to confront Tae, but when she gets there, she's horrified. Tae is savagely attacking one of their colleagues, and his eyes have completely changed. "Hey, Quirk, they look terrifying." Seobam warns him to stop, but Tae doesn't listen. Instead, he starts moving toward her. Seobam fires at him, but the bullets have no effect. Tae attacks her, and the two break into a fierce fight. Soo Min jumps in to help. During the fight, Tae's nails scratch Seobam. The two of them manage to lock Tae in the room and get their other colleague out, but Tae keeps slamming his head against the door like a madman. And then, after a short while, he suddenly snaps back to normal and screams in pain. Watching all of this, Seobam is in complete shock. Then Mr. Han arrives with his military team and begins to take Tae and the other colleague with him. He tells Seobam to come along too, but she refuses. Mr. Han then tells her that Tae is infected with a dangerous infection that spreads through biting. Since Seobam was in a fight with Tae, she'll need to be tested as well. Hearing this, Seobam agrees to go. Meanwhile, Mr. Han visits the police station and tells Yi Hyun and Officer Jong that he's come to take the suspect, explaining that the man is infected. He says the infected behave like zombies and start drinking people's blood. He tells them it's a secret investigation that the public doesn't know about, but since they're both police officers who have already witnessed everything, he's letting them in on it. Yi Hyun also asks Mr. Han about the green tablets, since the arrested man had mentioned that after taking them, he started feeling a strange thirst. But Mr. Han brushes off the question and tells him that if anything like that turns up, they should contact him first. Yi Hyun heads back to the apartment and searches the place. And sure enough, he finds those same green tablets. He sends them off to his friend for testing. Back at a secret research facility, Seobam is undergoing tests. A female doctor named Dr. Lee is conducting her checkup. Seobam asks Mr. Han, "Am I going to start biting people now?" The comment startles Dr. Lee. Seobam then playfully pretends to bite her, which makes Dr. Lee furious. Later, Seobam is in her room, talking to Yi Hyun on the phone and telling him about the testing. Suddenly, she hears strange sounds coming from the room next door, like someone trying to break through a wall. She tries to look through the window but can't make out anything. In reality, the entire building is full of infected people. Around the same time, Yi Hyun's friend has figured out what the green tablets are. He explains that the tablet was developed during COVID but was banned due to serious side effects. Hearing this, Yi Hyun is alarmed and tells Officer Jung to find out Seobam's location. Back at the research center, Dr. Lee is taking Seobam for a checkup. On the way, Seobam spots Tae. Despite Dr. Lee's objections, she forces her way into Ty's room and locks the door from inside. She asks him, "Why did you do all of this?" Tay says he doesn't remember anything and only adds that he's incredibly thirsty. Dr. Lee shouts from outside telling Seobam to stay away from him, but Seobam doesn't listen. Then Ty has another attack. His eyes shift again, turning horrifying, and he lunges at Seobam. The military team smashes the door open and subdues Ty with electric shocks. At the same time, Yi-hyun arrives at the research center, but the guards won't let him in. So he tells them, "Tell your leader I've brought the green tablets." That gets him inside. Meanwhile, Seobam is being discharged and Mr. Han tells her to stay home. Seobam takes the chance to request an apartment from him. Mr. Han responds, "Sure, but you'll need to get married first." Right then, Yi-hyun comes to pick her up. After thinking about it for a moment, Seobam proposes to Yi-hyun, and Yi-hyun says yes. Slowly, the zombie virus begins to spread, but the public is kept in the dark. We next see Seobam at her new apartment. She and Yi-hyun had a courthouse wedding, and they've already moved into the flat. To celebrate, Seobam goes around the building handing out rice cakes to all the neighbors. That's when she meets a little girl named Yoon, and the two immediately hit it off. The next day, Mr. Han visits Yi-hyun at the apartment. He hands him Ty's phone along with the drug dealer's number saying, "Call this number and order all the drugs." Yi-hyun points out that this kind of deal takes a lot of money. Money that police officers like them don't have. Mr. Han hands Yi-hyun a bag full of cash and the two of them go to meet the dealer. The dealer tries to grab the money, but Yi-hyun knocks him down, handcuffs him, and demands, "Where are the drugs we ordered?" The dealer tells them the drugs are in the car trunk, but when Yi-hyun goes to check, a dangerous zombie bursts out. The zombie is so aggressive that it's nearly impossible to control. Mr. Han opens fire, but bullets have no effect. He then keeps shooting nonstop until the zombie finally goes down. Yi-hyun erupts at Mr. Han, saying, "How can you shoot a person like that without a second thought?" Mr. Han replies coolly, "From what angle did that look human to you?" That silences Yi-hyun. Mr. Han then questions the drug dealer about when the man ended up in that state. The dealer says, "About a week ago, but we didn't kill him. We kept him as our guard dog to scare people because where else are you going to find loyal muscle like that these days?" That earns the dealer a punch from Yi-hyun. Just then, Mr. Han gets a call from Dr. Lee. He tells Yi-hyun, "Forget this. We need to get to the research center now." Yi-hyun asks, "Why me?" Mr. Han replies, "Seobam's there." It turns out Seobam had received a call from her colleague Soo-min, who told her that during the fight that day, one of their other colleagues had accidentally scratched him with their nails. He has a family and he can't stand the thought of losing them. He begs Seobam, "I'm so scared. Please help me." Seobam agrees and takes Soo-min to the research center. Dr. Lee examines him and checks the wound on his hand. She tells them, "This doesn't look like a scratch from a nail. Well, it looks more like a cut from glass or something sharp." Even so, Dr. Lee draws a blood sample and restrains Soo-min in a chair. Soo-min pleads to be released, but Dr. Lee only unlatches one hand while leaving the other handcuffed to the chair. Then she takes Seobam, and they leave the room. But when they return, Soo-min is gone. The truth is that the scratch wasn't on his hand at all. It was on his shoulder, but he'd hidden that from everyone. He was terrified of what might happen to his family if something was wrong with him. Then a reporter contacts him saying, "If you bring me information about the research center, I'll pay you a lot." Soo-min agrees because he desperately needs the money. So he uses Seobam as his cover to get into the research center and starts recording videos. While filming, he wanders into an area where dozens of infected people are locked inside trucks. Looking for footage, he climbs inside one of the trucks. A zombie inside spots him and begins advancing. The guards notice the truck's open door and assume it was accidentally left open, so they swing it shut. Seobam and Dr. Lee are searching for Soo-min when they reach that area. When they can't find him, Seobam calls his number, and the ringtone comes from inside one of the trucks. Dr. Lee tells the guards to open the truck, but the moment they do, a wave of zombies tries to surge out. The guards scramble to slam the door shut again. In the chaos, Seobam spots Soo-min inside the truck, and without a second thought, she dives in to save her friend. The guards try to pull her back out, but panicked about infection spreading, they start forcing the door shut. Just as the door is about to close completely, Yi-hyun rushes in, shoves the guards aside, and drags Seobam out. But Seobam is gripping Soo-min, so he gets pulled out too, though by this point he has completely turned into a zombie. Soo-min is placed in isolation at the research center. Seobam is home in her apartment when her mother calls. Her mother lives in the hospital due to her illness and tells her to turn on the TV and watch the news. Soo-min's secretly recorded video is playing on the broadcast. Her mother is worried about her. Seobam tells her not to worry. The moment she hangs up, she heads out to buy groceries. On her way back up to her floor, she starts hearing loud, violent sounds from Mr. Ju's apartment, like something is being destroyed. Fed up with the noise, she goes straight to his door to tell him to keep it down. Mr. Ju apologizes and says, "My wife has gotten really sick. I'm so sorry." He starts to close the door, but Seobam notices blood on his sleeves and pushes her way inside. She hears noises and heads toward the bathroom door, but Mr. Ju stops her and says, "Please don't open that door. She's completely changed. I'm a highly trained doctor myself, and even I can't figure out what happened to her. Her eyes have gone completely white. Please, do not open that door." Seobam tries to calm him down, saying, "She's quiet right now. That means she's still in a normal state." Slowly, she starts to ease the door open. The moment it opens, Mr. Ju shoves Seobam aside and slams the bathroom door shut. Before she can steady herself, she's face to face with a zombie. But Seobam doesn't panic. She quickly locks herself in the shower. Mr. Ju's wife, Minji, who has fully turned, is right on the other side of the glass. Before Minji can shatter it, Seobam cleverly slips around to the other side and opens the bathroom door from there, where Mr. Ju is on the phone with the police, explaining everything. Then they see Minji charging up behind them and they bolt. Minji chases after them and Seobam runs right behind, grabbing a pillow from the apartment on the way out. She calls Yi-hyun while running. In the chaos, Mr. Ju ends up at Yoon's apartment door. Yoon opens it and says, "Oh, uncle, where are you going? There's nobody home right now." But when Yoon turns around, Minji is standing right in front of her. The little girl is absolutely terrified, and Minji slowly starts advancing toward her. Then Seobam bursts in from behind, pressing the pillow against Minji's face, and the two break into a fierce struggle. Minji starts getting the upper hand. At that moment, Yi-hyun arrives and covers Minji's face with his jacket, binding her hands. He then spots Mr. Ju cowering in the corner and lands a solid punch on him. Seobam holds little Yoon, who is trembling in fear from everything she witnessed. Yi-hyun searches Mr. Ju's apartment and finds a hockey stick covered in blood along with green tablets. The bathroom is completely drenched in blood. A short while later, the medical team arrives and takes Minji away. But as they escort her through the building, all the other residents see her and are stunned. This is the first case in their complex. We then see Mr. Han holding a press conference, publicly disclosing the zombie virus to the public. Afterward, Mr. Han goes to his wife, who is both pregnant and infected. He has her chained to the bed just like the other infected people. Then Mr. Han comes to Seobam's apartment building and tells her that the drug dealer, who is currently locked in a truck with the infected, sold green tablets to many residents in this building. He sold them under the pretense that they were diet pills to get people hooked. Seobam says, "Then you need to identify those people right away." But Mr. Han says, "It's too late for that now." At that moment, the military arrives and puts the entire apartment complex on lockdown. Massive barricades are put up. Seobam tells him, "You should have warned the public before doing this." Mr. Han replies that if he had, everyone would have fled the building. He then offers to take Seobam out of there. But once she leaves, she can never come back in, and no one else can leave. Seobam refuses, saying, "This is my home, and I'm not one of those people who runs away out of fear." The entire complex is then sealed for 1 week. Yi-hyun and Seobam head to the building's gym to question the trainer, Seung, about the drug dealer. Yi-hyun asks him, "Did you take those tablets too?" Seung denies it, but Seobam notices several empty water bottles in the trash. The two suspect he might be infected. They lock Seung inside the gym so that even if he turns, he won't be able to attack anyone. With the building locked down, a cleaning staff couple also finds themselves trapped inside, along with their helper, a man named Park. Park always kept his face covered with a mask. Yi-hyun is a little suspicious of him and asks to see his ID, but Park has scratched out the photo on his ID. When Yi-hyun asks about it, Park says he has very bad scars on his face and always keeps himself covered because of them. Yi-hyun remains suspicious but doesn't push it. He arranges for all of them to stay in an empty flat in the building. After that, Seobam and Yi-hyun return to the gym to check on Seung, but he's gone. They start looking for him and end up at the parking lot. They hear zombie sounds echoing through the garage and start running back. On their way, they find Seung sitting inside a car. They tell him to come with them, but when he refuses, they leave him and run. They reach the building's main door, but it's locked from the inside. They shout for help and pound on the door. The zombie sounds growing louder and closer. Then an elderly woman opens the door and they rush inside, with Seung following right behind them. Yi-hyun places Seung under arrest. They're about to leave when a blood-soaked man appears at the door, screaming for help. Before anyone can act, a zombie drags the man away from behind. The sight leaves both of them stunned. They make their way to another entrance of the building where zombies are wandering around and attacking each other. The scene is absolutely horrifying. By this point, every other building in the complex was infected, except theirs. All along, Park was watching from above, quietly pleased. The scene shifts to an elderly woman whose son, Kang, runs a YouTube channel. In fact, the elderly woman had been scratched by Min Ji when she collided with her while Mr. Ju was running from her. The old woman asks Kang, "Does this illness cause your heart to beat faster?" Her son brushes it off and says, "It's nothing. It's just your old age. Stop bothering me and go to sleep. Yi-hyun shows Miss O the bloodstains and explains about the zombies, but Miss O refuses to believe him. On the other side of the building, Mr. Ju is meeting with lawyer Woo, who also lives in the complex, to discuss his case. Then Park comes to tell them about a meeting Miss O has called. At the meeting, Miss O plays a video from Dr. Lee for all the residents. In it, Dr. Lee explains the virus and its symptoms, saying that the infected develop an extreme thirst and their eyes turn white. Still, some residents refuse to believe in zombies. Afterwards, Seobam and Yi-hyun return to their apartment, where they find Yoon and Officer Jung waiting for them. Yoon's parents had been caught outside during the lockdown, and Officer Jung had also been trapped inside the building. So now all four of them are staying together in Seobam and Yi-hyun's apartment. We then see Dr. Lee at a meeting, briefing a group of VIPs on the virus. She tells them that the virus spreads in 3 ways: through biting, through a scratch from an infected person's nails, and through taking the green tablets. One of the VIPs asks, "Is there a cure? Have you developed a vaccine yet?" Dr. Lee is about to say no when Mr. Han walks in and says, "Yes, we found a treatment and we're currently working on a vaccine. It should be ready very soon." He adds, "But until then, we'll need to impose a nationwide lockdown because, at this rate, all of Korea could be infected very quickly." The VIPs are visibly alarmed. After the meeting, Dr. Lee confronts Mr. Han, asking, "Why did you lie in there? We don't have a vaccine yet." Mr. Han explains, "If I had told them the truth, they would have ordered all the infected to be killed. But we need to save those people, and we need to find a vaccine as quickly as possible." The next scene shows the following day. The cleaning staff is heading out to get food, and Seobam and Yi-hyun go along to protect them if necessary. They're just about to leave when Kang calls out from behind, saying he wants to come too so he can film for his channel. The group slowly moves forward and reaches the main gate, where a few other residents are already gathered. Among them is the same officer who had turned into a zombie the day before and was seen prowling around. Seobam asks him, "Do you not remember anything from yesterday?" Yi-hyun stops her before she can say more, and the officer plays along as if nothing had happened. Meanwhile, Mr. Cha calls out to the guards at the gate but gets no response from outside. Still, from touching the gate, blood ends up on his hands. The group turns around to head back, walking very slowly and watching behind them the whole way, because all the people standing behind them were zombies, still in their normal-looking phase. Then Miss O is walking toward her apartment when a man calls out to her, asking her to open the gate. It's the same man Seobam and Yi-hyun had seen that day. Miss O notices a wound on the man's neck and the man tries to hide it. Miss O is about to open the door when she accidentally drops her water bottle. As she bends to pick it up, she spots the man's nails, caked in blood. She looks at him and asks, "Are you thirsty?" The man fixes his gaze on her. Miss O pours a small puddle of water in front of him to test him. The man drops to his knees and begins lapping up the water, and slowly, completely turns into a zombie, his eyes turning entirely white. Seeing this, Miss O screams with all her might. Meanwhile, Seobam and Yi-hyun take the others to the building's grocery store to get food, since the supply from the military never arrived. Inside, everyone starts grabbing things off the shelves, stuffing their carts to the brim. Park, on the other hand, moves calmly through the aisles, picking items one at a time. While Seobam and Yi-hyun sweep the store, Yi-hyun finds a girl hiding under the cash register, trembling with fear. They're still shopping when they notice blood on the floor. Everyone immediately starts running, except Kang, who is too busy filming for his channel to notice. Then, when actual zombies appear right in front of him, all the color drains from his face. Park steps in at the last moment, saves Kang, and tells him to run. Everyone is making their way out of the grocery store when an alcohol bottle in Mr. Cha's cart triggers the security alarm. The second the alarm goes off, all the nearby zombies begin moving toward them. Everyone sprints outside and waits for Kang and Park so that the moment they make it out, the door can be slammed shut. The moment Kang and Park burst through the doors, they seal the grocery store, trapping the zombies inside. But when they reach the building entrance, they find the door locked. Miss O has shut them out. No matter how much they plead, she won't open it. After seeing that zombie, she's so terrified that she's convinced they've all turned too. Mr. Cha pounds on the door, but Miss O sees blood on his forehead and becomes even more paralyzed with fear. At that point, Mr. Ju plays a recording on his phone of the horrifying noises his wife was making when she turned, sounds he had recorded when she was transforming. The sounds send everyone into a panic. They're convinced zombies from the other buildings will hear it and come running. Kang is so rattled that he stops recording and grabs a knife, bracing himself for a fight. Seobam presses her gun against Miss O's door, warning her to open up, but Miss O still won't open the door. Then, Yoon arrives with Officer Jung and quickly unlocks the door. The moment they're inside, Mr. Cha grabs Miss O by the throat and shouts, "You crazy woman! Were you trying to get us all killed?" As soon as everyone is in, Yi-hyun slams the door shut, but Mr. Ju has already slipped away, and his phone, which he'd left behind still playing those terrifying sounds, can't be turned off. So Yi-hyun smashes it. Then his eyes land on something smeared with zombie blood. He picks it up, walks over to Mr. Ju, and wipes it all over his face. Yi-hyun says, "That's zombie blood. Now you know what fear feels like." Mr. Ju completely loses it and starts screaming like a madman. That's when Seobam steps in and holds Yi-hyun back. Meanwhile, Kang is over the moon. He got incredible zombie footage today, but then he remembers he dropped his phone outside. All his excitement vanishes in an instant. The scene then shifts to Lawyer Wu, who gets a call from the same zombie who had cornered Miss O. The zombie lures him downstairs under the pretense of discussing a case, and Lawyer Wu actually heads down because he still doesn't believe in zombies. Lawyer Wu's wife is worried about him, so she goes to Seobam for help. Just as Lawyer Wu is about to open the door, Seobam arrives and forces it shut. The zombie glares at Seobam in fury. She stares him down and drives him off. Lawyer Wu rounds on her and shouts, "You just scared off my client." He still refuses to believe what's happening, so Seobam and Yi-hyun take him to see gym trainer Sung, who has fully turned by now. That does it. Lawyer Wu is shaking too hard to stand. The scene then shifts to the girl from the grocery store. Kang had bribed her, promising her a lot of money if she would go outside and retrieve his phone. She agrees and goes out to get it, but runs right into that same zombie. The two of them barely manage to escape and bolt back toward the building, but the zombie follows them inside. One zombie ends up making it all the way to Seobam's apartment, where Yoon is alone. The zombie tries to sweet-talk Yoon into opening the door, but Yoon doesn't open it. When Seobam and Yi-hyun arrive, they ask the zombie how it got inside. It says the door was open and it just walked in. They scare it off and head downstairs to lock the main entrance. After that, they go to check the gym to see if any more zombies have gotten in. But when they arrive, gym trainer Sung, the one they had locked up, attacks them. Meanwhile, after the commotion of Kong and the grocery store girl letting zombies into the building, a girl named Na-hyun and her brother had gone to the window to see what the noise was about. A zombie grabs Na-hyun's brother. Horrified, Na-hyun runs for her life. She ends up at the gym where Sung is restrained. Sung spots her and says, "Don't be afraid. I can protect you. Just undo these handcuffs. Look, I'm completely fine. I'm not infected at all." Already terrified, Na-hyun believes him and hands him the key. The moment his hands are free, Seung starts drinking water frantically. Na-hyun stares at him in bewilderment. After draining glass after glass, Sung says, "What do I do? My thirst just won't go away." That's enough. Na-hyun runs. Then Yi-hyun and Seobam arrive, and Seong attacks all three of them. A brutal fight breaks out. Seong is overpowering them both. He's about to take their lives when Mr. Han shoots him from behind, killing him. Seobam rounds on Mr. Han and says, "I had a gun too, but I didn't want to kill him. I just wanted to bring him under control." Mr. Han replies that there is no other way now except to shoot the zombies. Afterward, Mr. Han takes Seobam up to the terrace for a private conversation. He tells her that the situation outside has grown very bad, and the lockdown may have to be extended. He urges her to leave with him. Seobam refuses and starts walking away. Then Mr. Han comes up from behind and injects her with a sedative, picking her up and carrying her away. The moment Yi-hyun finds out, he gives chase. Just as Mr. Han's car is about to exit the main gate, Yi-hyun sprints and jumps onto the car, pressing his gun to Mr. Han's head. Every guard at the gate immediately levels their weapons at Yi-hyun. Then Seobam appears from behind, having grabbed Mr. Han's gun and points it at him. Mr. Han stares at her in disbelief. He says, "How are you conscious? That injection I gave you could knock out an elephant." Seobam replies, "Then I guess I'm stronger than an elephant." With no other choice, Mr. Han has to tell them the truth. He explains that he needs Seobam's blood sample to see if an antidote can be developed from it, because Seobam is the only person the virus has had absolutely no effect on. He promises that Seobam will not be harmed. Hearing this, Seobam agrees to give her blood. The scene shifts to Na-hyun. She's in her apartment, crying out of fear of losing her brother. Then her brother's face appears on the video intercom. He's in the parking lot and badly injured. He tells her, "Don't worry about me, I'm fine. But if something happens to me, please take care of my family." Hearing this, Na-hyun breaks down even more. Suddenly, the power cuts out and the entire complex goes dark. Na-hyun grabs a torch and heads to the parking lot to find her brother. Her brother is sitting right there in the lot. Overwhelmed with emotion, Na-hyun takes him and hides him in an empty apartment. When she comes back out after leaving him some supplies, Seobam and Yi-hyun spot her. Na-hyun tells them the whole truth, and they allow her brother to stay. Back upstairs, everyone has gathered and is waiting for the announcement that the lockdown will be lifted. Instead, the announcement comes that the lockdown will be extended further. Then Kang rushes in and tells everyone that his mother has turned into a zombie. Kang's father, who is standing right there, says, Nobody is removing my wife from this building. She's just a little under the weather. I've locked her in her room and I'll take care of her myself. With that, he leaves. But Kang is terrified to go back to his own apartment now. He packs up all his things and moves into the cleaning staff's apartment. They let him in when they see how much food and supplies he's brought. But with the tight space, they end up pushing one of the cleaning women out. The scene shifts to Seobam's apartment, where Officer Jong notices a scratch on Seobam's arm and asks, "Are you infected too?" Seobam tells him everything, but Officer Jong still starts to have doubts about Seobam. Meanwhile, Mr. Ju tricks Miss Oh into coming to the apartment where Na Hyun's brother is hiding. Mr. Ju says, "Go on in, there's a surprise for you." But the moment Miss Oh opens the door, she screams in terror. Seobam and Yi Hyun arrive shortly after. Na Hyun's brother presses his palms together and says, "Please believe me, I haven't done anything. Don't make me leave." Yi Hyun asks Miss Oh to allow Na Hyun's brother to be held in the gym, and she agrees. They then learn from Miss Oh that Mr. Ju was the one who brought her there. The two confront Mr. Ju, demanding, "What is your problem?" Mr. Ju replies, "Nothing. I just want to watch all of you die." Yi Hyun moves to arrest him. But then, Officer Jong arrives with a group of residents, pointing his gun at Seobam. It turns out Officer Jong had told everyone that Seobam was infected and needed to be locked up. Seobam and Yi Hyun both deny it, but no one believes them. Everyone gathers in Miss Oh's apartment. Seobam wants to cut her own hand to prove she's not infected. But before she can, Yi Hyun grabs the knife and cuts his own hand instead. He then goes to each person one by one, holding out his blood-stained hand. Seobam shows no reaction to the blood at all. But the girl from the grocery store can't control herself the moment she sees it. She immediately turns and attacks Yi Hyun. Seobam grabs her from behind and restrains her. Everyone in the room is in shock at what they just witnessed. Seobam gives the grocery store girl a tent and moves her to the rooftop terrace since she doesn't want to be kept in the basement. The girl tells Seobam that a zombie had bitten her back in the grocery store. She'd been so scared that she hadn't told anyone. Seobam looks at her and says, "It's okay." Officer Jong also comes to Seobam and apologizes, and she forgives him. Meanwhile, Miss Oh's husband, who had already been taking green tablets, can no longer control himself at the sight of blood. He gets down on the floor and starts licking up Yi Hyun's blood. Miss Oh sees him and, screaming in terror, locks herself in a room. After drinking the blood, Miss Oh's husband loses all composure and bursts out into the hallway. He spots Mr. Ju and starts advancing on him. Mr. Ju bolts and locks himself in his room, just in time. In the chaos, Lawyer Woo and Assistant Sue are trapped out in the hallway. Miss Oh's husband is about to attack them when Seobam charges in and pulls them both to safety. But now Miss Oh's husband turns on Seobam. He's about to bite her when Yi Hyun cuts his own hand again, diverting Miss Oh's husband's attention. Seobam and Yi Hyun together somehow manage to subdue him and lock him away. They come out and tell Miss Oh that everything is under control now. But Mr. Ju, who had been hiding in his room this whole time, steps back out. He pulls the cloth off Miss Oh's husband's face and deliberately draws his attention. The moment Miss Oh's husband charges toward him, Mr. Ju steps aside, sending him crashing straight through the window. He falls and dies. Mr. Ju is secretly thrilled, but before anyone notices, he slips back into his room. When everyone comes inside, Miss Oh lays all the blame on Seobam and Yi Hyun, saying, "My husband died because of you." Yi Hyun suspects Mr. Ju but has no proof, so he says nothing. We then see Mr. Han sitting beside his wife, visibly devastated. Then Dr. Lee comes in and tells him that they've finally developed an antidote from Seobam's blood. Mr. Han is overjoyed, but on the other side of the building, Yi Hyun is in the bathroom, staring at a wound on his chest, an injury he got while fighting with Miss Oh's husband. Seobam and Yi Hyun start looking for Kim, who has gone missing. He left a note in his apartment saying he's been infected, that he's leaving, and that all the food in his apartment should be shared among the others. But Seobam and Yi Hyun are skeptical. They say, "This man never even steps outside his own apartment, so how is he suddenly walking out and leaving?" They search for him and eventually find themselves in an empty apartment where they run into Lawyer Woo and Assistant Sue together. Searching the flat, they find the body of the cleaning woman. They immediately call Mr. Ju to come examine the body. After checking, Mr. Ju confirms that her death was caused by a zombie bite. The next day, Seobam and Yi Hyun return together to Kim's apartment to look for him again, because Kim had once mentioned to Seobam that his flat has a secret room. Then Seobam gets a call from Dr. Lee, who tells her that Park, who has been staying in their apartment, is not who he says he is. Seobam is shaken. Just then, Yi-hyun finds Kim's body, and the discovery leaves him stunned. Officer Jong is in Seobam's apartment with little Yoon when the doorbell rings. He opens it to find Lawyer Woo standing outside saying, "Open up quick. I found Kim and he's coming after me." The moment Officer Jong opens the door, Park ambushes him from the side. He stabs him, and in the struggle, a gunshot goes off. Hearing the shot, Yi-hyun and Seobam sprint over and find all the building residents gathered with bags, ready to divide up supplies. Mr. Ju tells them, "Go on inside. There's a surprise waiting for you." Inside, they find Officer Jong collapsed and bleeding on the floor. Yi-hyun rushes over to check on him, and poor little Yoon is sobbing because Park had been forcing her to play with him. Seobam asks Park, "Who are you really?" And finally, Park pulls off his mask and reveals his face. Seobam recognizes him immediately. He is one of Korea's most notorious serial killers. Park holds Yoon at knife point and says, "I'm taking her with me. For now, take care of Officer Jong. Then come downstairs for a meeting." When Park's face is seen by all the residents outside, they are stunned to realize they've been living in the same building as a serial killer all this time. Seobam bandages Officer Jong, but he urgently needs a hospital. Without proper treatment, he could die. The sight of blood makes Yi-hyun feel restless, so he quickly retreats to the bathroom. He gets a call from Mr. Han, who tells him that the antidote has been extracted from Seobam's blood and says to get Seobam out of the building immediately. Park returns to Seobam's apartment and tells them both how he had murdered the real Park first because he needed a new identity to start a fresh life. He stole Park's identity and came here, then got trapped when the lockdown hit. To survive, he started killing people. He murdered the cleaning woman first and took her food. After that, he set his sights on Kim because Kim had the most food and water of anyone in the building. He went to Kim's apartment, but Kim wouldn't open the door, so Park lied. Seobam is sick and needs medicine. Kim opened the door immediately, and Park beat him to death. Then he forces them both downstairs at gunpoint, where the other residents are already gathered and waiting. Park tells everyone that in another building there is a switch. If turned on, it will restore both power and water. And Seobam and Yi-hyun will be the ones to go flip it, or he'll kill Yoon. Na-hyun, hearing this, warns that flipping that switch makes an extremely loud noise, which will bring every zombie in the area right down on them. Park walks over to Na-hyun and presses his gun against her head, threatening to kill her. Seobam says, "Fine, we'll go flip the switch. Just don't hurt anyone." As the two of them are leaving, Kang says he wants to come too. They agree to let him tag along, but when they reach the building entrance, they tell him to turn back. They say, "Go back inside. It's going to be very dangerous out there." Kang says, "No, I'm not going back in there. Those people are more dangerous than the zombies. If that's how it is, I'll just hide in my car." Seobam and Yi-hyun go to the other building and flip the switch. Power returns, but it also triggers the deafening noise. The moment the sound hits, all the zombies race toward them at full speed. The two of them run for their lives and duck into another building, using the cleaning woman's access card to get in. Going back to their own building isn't an option. Park would shoot them on sight. Meanwhile, Kang gets back into his car and tries to start it, but a mob of zombies immediately swarms it. The poor guy nearly has a heart attack. Seobam and Yi-hyun are riding the elevator up when Yi-hyun tells her about the antibody found in her blood. Seobam is surprised. But when the elevator doors open, a crowd of zombies tries to surge inside. Yi-hyun shoves them back. Seobam reaches out to pull him in, and that's when she notices the wound on his chest. The realization hits her like a shock. She also notices that not a single zombie is actually attacking Yi-hyun. They're all just drawn toward him. She still pulls him back inside, but Yi-hyun tells her to stay back. He says, "Stay away from me. Whenever you're close to me, my heart races, and I get incredibly thirsty." He tries to push her away, but Seobam says, "No matter what happens, I can't stay away from you." She confesses her feelings and pulls him into a hug. Together, they make it to the rooftop of the other building, where the grocery store girl helps them open the door. Seobam goes to Lawyer Woo's apartment to get Yeon, who is there with Lawyer Woo's wife. Lawyer Woo's wife had kicked him out once she found out what he had done. Seobam takes Yoon with her. Yi-hyun also appears, helping Officer Jong along, and the group begins to leave. Seobam asks Lawyer Woo's wife if she wants to come with him, saying they're all getting out. Lawyer Woo's wife throws away her wedding ring and decides to join them. Downstairs, Park is still waiting in front of the elevator. When he sees it heading up, he gets suspicious and starts climbing up himself. But then Mr. Cha attacks him from behind. Park stabs him and gets away. As the group is trying to cross from the terrace to the other building, Park catches up to them. He's about to open fire when Yi-hyun throws a smoke bomb, distracting him, and everyone breaks into a run. But Park fires anyway, and the bullet hits Yi-hyun in the shoulder. Yi-hyun tells Seobam to go on ahead with the others, and he stays behind. He chains the door shut with handcuffs and confesses his feelings to Seobam through the door. Seobam tells him, "Wait here. I'll get everyone out and come right back. She takes the others and heads outside. Then Park shoots Yi-hyun in the leg. Yi-hyun collapses to the ground. He holds up the handcuff key and taunts Park with it. He says, "Looking for this?" The moment Park steps forward to grab it, Yi-hyun drops the key off the edge of the building. This sends Park into a rage, and he presses his gun to Yi-hyun's head from behind. Yi-hyun doesn't react. Park asks him, "Why are you smiling? Your wife ran off and left you. Turn around and face me. I want to see the fear on your face when you die." But when Yi-hyun turns around, he has fully turned into a zombie. Park is stunned. Before he can do anything, Yi-hyun bites him in the neck. Meanwhile, Seobam has everyone in the car. The moment she starts it, a horde of zombies swarms after them. Seobam floors the gas and races to the entrance, where Mr. Han has the gate open for them. The moment they are outside, the entire military force levels their weapons at the group. Seobam gets out and asks Mr. Han for a gun so she can go back and help Yi-hyun, but instead of handing one over, Mr. Han injects her with another sedative. When Seobam wakes up, she's in the research center. The moment she regains consciousness, she starts preparing to leave. Mr. Han tells her, "Your blood is desperately needed by a lot of people right now." But Seobam says, "Tell them all to wait. Yi-hyun is what matters most to me, and I'm going to him." Then Mr. Han takes her to see his wife and tells her, "My wife is in critical condition. She's about to go into labor and only your blood can save her." Hearing this, Seobam agrees to stay, but on one condition. She says that after this, Mr. Han will personally escort her out. Mr. Han agrees. Later, Seobam goes back to Mr. Han, who is sitting with his wife. He shows her 2 injections made from her blood. He keeps one for himself and gives the other to Seobam. He tells her, "In a little while, my superiors will come to take you to the lab so they can produce more medicine from your blood." He continues, "But I made you a promise. So put on this uniform, get into my car, and get out of here. You'll find the building access card inside the car." Seobam immediately slips out and makes her way to Yoon's mother's room. She had been kept at the research center because of her infection. Seobam injects her. Dr. Lee walks in and sees her. She asks in astonishment, "What have you done?" Seobam replies, "Yi-hyun has me, but Yoon only has her mother." Then senior officers arrive at the research center and find Mr. Han injecting his wife. Guards point their weapons at him and order him to stop, but he doesn't. He turns his gun on them instead and finishes administering the injection. The moment it's done, his wife's condition stabilizes and she looks normal again. Mr. Han surrenders himself. Dr. Lee hands Seobam her uniform and tells her to run. Seobam says, "Hit me before you go, otherwise you'll be blamed for helping me escape." Dr. Lee gives her a light punch, and Seobam gets into Mr. Han's car and drives away. Seobam uses the access card to get back into the building. Na-hyun and her brother, who are on their way out, see her and open the door. The moment she's inside, Seobam asks about Yi-hyun. Na-hyun and her brother look at each other, surprised. The scene flashes back to one day earlier. After Yi-hyun bites Park and walks away, he passes Miss Oh, who is standing behind him watching everything. But Yi-hyun does nothing to her and moves on. The moment he's gone, Miss Oh tries to grab the gun from Park's hand, but Park, still conscious, grabs her wrist and stops her. Meanwhile, Na-hyun had seen Yi-hyun leaving and followed him all the way back to his apartment, where she starts asking how he's doing. On the other side of the building, Assistant Soo, who is staying in their apartment due to the lockdown, creeps up behind Mr. Ju and hits him over the head. The blow is so sudden that Mr. Ju crumples to the floor, unconscious. Assistant Soo and Lawyer Woo start trying to decode a tattoo on Mr. Ju's shoulder, hoping to find hidden money they can split between themselves. While they're working on it, the cleaning couple comes and asks for help, but Assistant Soo and Lawyer Woo flatly refuse. At that moment, Mr. Ju comes too. As soon as he regains consciousness, his eyes land on a green tablet he finds among his wife's belongings. Without a second thought, he swallows it. The moment he does, Mr. Ju starts to believe he's infected, and so he lurches over to Lawyer Woo and bites him, launching into a full zombie act. Assistant Soo and Lawyer Woo are horrified. They both bolt and barricade themselves inside Lawyer Woo's apartment, where Mr. Ju can't reach them. On the other side, Yi-hyun, along with Na-hyun and her brother, goes to Mr. Ju's apartment. He warns him, if Park knocks on the door, do not open it under any circumstances. Park has turned. Mr. Ju responds nonchalantly, "I'm not afraid of anything anymore. I took a green tablet, so I'm infected now too." Yi-hyun replies, "You're not infected. I am. And honestly, I'm barely managing to stop myself from biting you right now." With that, Yi-hyun leaves with Na-hyun and her brother. But on the way, they run into Miss Oh. She looks awful, and she's laughing in a deeply unsettling way. Then she smiles and says, "Park won't be coming back anymore." "Ha! Because I killed him." The story flashes back to the terrace scene. When Park had grabbed Miss Oh's wrist, In that moment, Miss Oh had swung a baseball bat at Park over and over, leaving him severely wounded. But when Yi-hyun goes to check where Park's body should be, there is no corpse. Yi-hyun realizes Park is still alive and may have turned. Yi-hyun tracks Park to the parking lot where he finds Kang still sitting inside his car. Kang has also been infected, but is still lucid. Yi-hyun tells him that he should go home. Maybe being with his family will help his condition. Taking Yi-hyun's advice, Kang returns to his apartment, and his father lets him in. The story returns to the present day. After hearing everything from Na-hyun, Seo-bam breaks into a huge smile. She's certain Yi-hyun is still alive. She takes off running toward her apartment without wasting a second. On her way, she tells Na-hyun and her brother, "You don't need to leave anymore. The lockdown is ending very soon." Na-hyun and her brother breathe a sigh of relief. Meanwhile, Yi-hyun is in his apartment when he suddenly hears voices outside. He steps out to investigate. Outside, he finds Mr. Ju holding Assistant Sue at knife point and threatening her. Miss Oh is there too. Miss Oh says with fury, "Kill all the normal ones and pin their deaths on the zombies." It turns out Miss Oh and Mr. Ju had been plotting together to kill Yi-hyun. Miss Oh is still speaking when Mr. Ju cuts Assistant Sue's hand. Then he turns to Yi-hyun and asks, "Are you thirsty?" With that, he shoves Assistant Sue toward Yi-hyun. Yi-hyun reacts immediately. He swings a baseball bat at Mr. Ju and shoves Assistant Sue toward the stairs. But the smell of her blood starts to awaken his thirst. He rushes back to his apartment and wraps himself tightly in a blanket, trying to keep the infection from taking hold. But the smell of her blood is already in his mind. Eventually, he can't hold back anymore, and he fully turns into a zombie. Just then, Seo-bam arrives. The moment she walks in, Miss Oh lunges at her, but Seo-bam screams so loudly that Miss Oh snaps out of it and lets go. Outside, Mr. Ju is still taunting Yi-hyun, calling him a coward. But the moment he spots Seo-bam, he starts putting on his zombie act again. Seo-bam walks straight up to him and kicks him so hard that the act crumbles in an instant. Seo-bam goes inside the apartment and moves toward Yi-hyun, but he won't even look at her. He's terrified of losing control. Then Seo-bam walks close to him and says gently, "You told me once that a home isn't just 4 empty walls. A home is the people you love, and I love you. I want to spend my whole life with you." Seo-bam kisses Yi-hyun. Her love and trust slowly pull Yi-hyun back. Within moments, he returns to himself, and hearing her confession, he is happy. Just then, Mr. Han arrives with his military team and begins to take all the survivors with them. They take Na-hyun's brother as well because, like Seo-bam, the virus had no effect on him. Researchers hoped his blood could help produce more vaccines. Seo-bam and Yi-hyun leave Miss Oh and Mr. Ju locked on the rooftop terrace as punishment. On the way out, Yi-hyun says, "We should leave Kim's body in his apartment." He unlocks Kim's apartment door, but the moment it swings open, they both freeze. Park is still alive. He steps out of the apartment and immediately presses his gun against Yi-hyun. A ferocious fight breaks out between them. In the chaos, a shot is fired. Hearing the gunshot, Seo-bam races over. When she arrives, she finds Park holding Yi-hyun at gunpoint. Park slowly turns to smile at Seo-bam and beckons her closer. He wants to drink her blood. Yi-hyun immediately shouts to Seo-bam, "Get out of here!" But Seo-bam doesn't listen. She shoots herself in the hand. Blood streams down immediately. The smell of blood overwhelms Park. He loses his grip on reality and slowly, completely turns into a zombie. Park, now fully a zombie, begins moving towards Seo-bam. He's right on the verge of attacking her, but Yi-hyun raises his gun from behind and shoots Park in the head. Park drops where he stands, and this time, his story is over for good. But Yi-hyun had taken a bullet too during the fight. The moment after he kills Park, he starts to weaken and within moments collapses to the floor. Seo-bam panics. She runs to him and catches him in her arms. Tears pour down her face. She is terrified of losing him again. The story then jumps forward 1 year. At the research center, we see Soo-min, now fully recovered. After a year of treatment, he has finally been discharged and is ready to be reunited with his family. Back at Seo-bam's apartment complex, life has returned to normal. People are going about their days again. Little Yoon spots Seo-bam and comes sprinting toward her, hugging her tight. And then Yi-hyun comes up from behind and wraps his arms around Seo-bam too. He has made a full recovery. No trace of infection, no remnant of those dark days. They can finally live their normal lives again. Seo-bam and Yi-hyun walk through the complex hand in hand, reflecting on the zombie outbreak from a year ago and feeling grateful that somehow, despite everything, it all worked out. Then Seo-bam smiles and asks Yi-hyun, "When did you first start liking me anyway?" Yi-hyun gives a small smile and replies, "That day, when I met you on the terrace." He looks at her and says, "That day, I decided you were the one for me. I even became a police officer because of you." Seo-bam smiles, and with this sweet and emotional moment, the drama comes to an end.